Welcome back, everyone. Toysh is here, and I am back yet again to give you guys another news update. Today, we're going to be talking to all the latest and greatest Star Wars 2022 Celebration panel for Hasbro. I was right there amidst the crowd, taking all the photos. Thanks to everyone who tuned in on my Instagram to check it out. I would have totally live streamed it, but they had asked everyone, hey, please don't record and do all this stuff. And I was like right in the front, and when you do that, they're like, they know what you're doing. So that kind of thing. But we're going to go through the entirety of their slideshow, all the reveals, just kind of recreate it for you. For those of you who are not able to be there, well, let me be your guide because, it was fun. It's always fun to be back at a convention. I had a great time, more so because I haven't been to a convention where I got to see everyone I know for quite some time. COVID really put a damper on all of that. So seeing all my friends, everyone who works in the industry, everybody that I've gotten to know, they were all there, and it was so great to reconnect, and man, I had an absolute blast. So to everyone that I got to see again, to everyone that I missed, I apologize. The day gets away from you when you're running around, you're looking at all the different things, you're talking with people, so I do apologize. On to the next one, hopefully maybe San Diego Comic-Con, I will meet you. But again, for everyone that I got to see, it was great catching up and seeing you. So anyways, on to the Star Wars Celebration Hasbro panel. Now let me set the stage for you, the Twins Suns stage for you. Hasbro, in pure Hasbro fashion, made it quite the spectacle, right? They turn the lights off. The crew runs in with lightsabers. It's fun, right? They even hired Chuck Dukas, who warms up the crowd for America's Got Talent. Well, he warmed up the crowd and gave out prizes, and it's fun. It's meant to be fun. That's all it's meant to be, is just a good time. That's what we're here to see. And then, of course, the Star Wars crew, all the people that make your toys and designers and people from Lucasfilm were all there. The usual crowd, and they took us through everything, showing off the booth, showing off all the different dioramas, which I'll give it to them all day. They really did have a really nice booth set up. Everything was spaced out appropriately. You really can't do anything about those people that linger or just walk right in front when you're trying to take a photo. You know those people? You know who you are if you're those people. But in either case, they did have a really nice booth. Now, they did have a ton of product on display. And then as a result of these new reveals, they had even more to show off, which they had teased that prior Thursday. That, we're going to have, we're going to fill these glass cases. But all the glass cases were filled with figures for the most part that have been revealed, but haven't come out yet. And that's another big bummer for me, seeing the modal nodes and those types of figures where, man, you're going to have to wait quite some time before those start coming out. So it's one of those where it weighs down on you. You know what I mean? I really wish I could just buy that now. You know what I mean? But they had the exclusive. I got to hold it. I got to see it. I got to touch it. It's the perfect exclusive for those that, maybe you're not a completist or maybe you are a completist, but this is one of those figures where it's just a perfect con exclusive because I don't know really what it adds to your collection other than going, there's a Jon Favreau in my collection. I'll tell you right now, no, I didn't pick it up. It was like $50 out the door, and it's just not something that I need or want, right? It's just the way of it. But cool nonetheless for those of you that want it. But enough about all that. Let's start it off with what they showed off. Now, about an hour, 2 hours prior to the Hasbro show, they had the Shop Disney panel where they talk about all the Disney parks exclusives. So we kind of knew this was coming, but they revealed it again here. So this is we'll say, quote unquote, it's a concept edition. See, I would call it the Ralph McQuarrie. There's no Ralph McQuarrie anywhere listed on this, but these are the Ralph McQuarrie designs. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. For what I see, you look at the packaging, you look at it straight on, you're like, wow. And then you kind of start to absorb it a little bit and you go, oh, that's just, it's more repaints. Sure, they got a cool lightsaber to them, and Darth Vader's got this cool mask that's very concept artist, Ralph McQuarrie-ish. And sure, the Obi-Wan does kind of feel the same way in that sense, but once you start looking closely at these things, they're just repainted and cleverly disguised as quote unquote new figures. So for me, for a second there, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. And then I saw them in the glass case and I took photos and I'm looking at them really in detail and I'm like, again, it's just another repaint. And it kind of confused you, kind of like what they did with the droids. Like, it looks great in the packaging, and concept series, Macquarie, and all that kind of stuff. And then when you see it, you get it out, and you're like, but this is just the same thing again. I want new figures. I want redesigned stuff. That's what I want to see, especially for a Ralph McQuarrie set like that. So some things that are good to say. I mean, from afar, they look good. Yeah, they might look good just standing there. Oh, that's my Ralph McQuarrie, Darth Vader. That's Obi-Wan. So in that sense, I mean, if that's good enough, then by all means, bingo bango. But, in the strictest sense, it's just kind of like the same old, and that gets boring after a while. But if you're interested, this will be a Shop Disney and a Disney Parks exclusive, and it's slated to hit in around fall 2022. And then they talked about Reva. I thought it was Reva. It's Reva, right? I did see Kenobi. I'm going to tell you right now, going forward from this video, there will be spoilers in this. So if you have not seen Kenobi, this is your warning now, because I saw it, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here comes the spoilers for Kenobi. A lot of you, they go, oh, you didn't give me enough heads up. You got plenty of heads up now. That show, as of the first 2 episodes, rocked. Really liked it. Really dug what they're doing. And I hope it continues. I'm one of those people where I did like the character of Reva, but I hope that she continues on the path that she's on and doesn't go, hey, I'm a good guy now. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? So really cool to have an Inquisitor. She looks awesome in terms of the figures. I'll give it to them all day. They recreated. I mean, you got 3 choices here: Black Series, Vintage, and Retro. They're really trying to push this character on you, and we don't even know anything about it. So I'll tell you right off the bat, wait until Kenobi concludes and then make your decision, because otherwise we don't get stuck in those situations anymore. Yeah, it's great to pre-order. You can pre-order right now, and then you can cancel it. You know what I mean? But they need to kind of cease that whole, like, here's this character. We're all in on this character. This character is going to be great. And then you kind of watch it, and you're like Book of Boba Fett. I was like, wow, I really like old school Boba Fett, the one that died in the Sarlacc pit. You know what I mean? This new one just didn't do it for me, but that's okay with modern Star Wars. You pick and choose what you like. And I had a great time at Star Wars Celebration because I saw a lot of things I really did like, and then you don't pay attention to the stuff that doesn't matter to you, and that's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? You can't get mad and go, oh, the whole thing sucks now because it's not what I wanted. No, with anything, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, heck, anything you want to pick and choose, you just pick and choose what you like, and you go with that. For me, 90s, Power of the Force, Shadows of the Empire, original trilogy, all that kind of stuff. That works for me for Star Wars. So to kind of go off on a lighter note, we had some looks at the Star Wars mission fleet. These are more for the kiddos, right? Hasbro Gaming. I just laughed at this. It was like Star Wars Monopoly, but this is like the Sith edition, and I thought it would be fun. You know what I mean? Hey, everybody, it's family game night. What are we playing? Star Wars Monopoly. The Sith edition? You know it. Or Dark Side edition, whatever it's called. I don't know. But the Bounty Collection, it's cute, it's adorable. Again, for Kenobi, there's the Lola droid, you know. That's very batteries not included, by the way. That if that's got to be intentional, because it even has a little saw blade and stuff at one point. That's got to be batteries not included, because, you know, they did that whole movie and everything back in the day with, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Spielberg or something like that. Maybe a nod, something like that. But in either case, yeah, it's a cool droid. I mean, for the 10 seconds of screen time that it had in the episode, they showed off a video. It rocks to and fro. I think, I'm going to be honest with you, the kiddos, I don't know who this is for, other than if you have a cool Star Wars collection and you really like what they did with this in Kenobi. Kids, you're going to play with this for like 2 seconds and then go like, I'm done. What else you got? You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't have that oomph. It's cute. It's adorable, but does it have that longevity in the price you're going to pay? Yeah, you got to think about it that way. Moving on. I'm just going to tell you this right now. So you have Star Wars Black Series, you got Vintage Collection. This is exactly how it was presented. They jumped around to and fro, all this, you know, keep it like streamlined. Here, let's start with Black Series. Here, let's start with Vintage Collection. But in either case, we got a better look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Wandering Jedi, right? Which, yeah, more or less this looks like how he is in the new show. And they noted that, and I actually thought this was kind of cool, because it comes with the Lola droid, and then the Lola, the smaller one, has the saw blade. So again, because I'm a big fan of batteries not included, I was like, you know, and I've liked Kenobi so far, so I would pick this up. that's another thing. I would pick this up right now. How I'm going to feel about it in spring 2023, it's over and done with at that point. And no, I'm not going to make any excuses for them. And no, I'm not going to tell you if you don't know anything. You don't know the inner workings of how this all goes with this corporation. No one does except for them. So if they say, yeah, it's coming out a year later, however that came about and why it didn't work out, that's on them. So if you're still interested in spring 2023 for a Kenobi figure, then good on them. But I got all the Bad Batch characters because I like that. It's like a team, right? I got to build a team. I built the team almost a year and like a couple months after the show's initial premiere. You know what I mean? It lasted for me. When I walked in the store and I saw one here, 6 months later, I saw another one, 3 months later, I saw another one. It just happened into it. I would not go out of my way to grab these. But again, like I said, for the Black Series, for Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you're still in it to win it, yeah, you're going to have to wait until spring 2023. And then this is actually pretty cool. I actually like this character, and I'm kind of confused. I'm sure they'll answer the question, with episode 3, 4, whatever they got left. But the Grand Inquisitor, they showed him off. And this is just one of those figures where it's like, yeah, that's the Grand Inquisitor right there. There's not a whole lot to it. It gives me everything that I need for the character, so I would say that's a perfect pack out. It's got the bladed weapon. You can pull the blades off. You can do the whole thing on his back. So for me, yeah, that totally works, and they kind of showed him off early. The actor showed the character off. He was in the glass case when I showed up on Friday, so he looks good. Really no complaints at all there. That looks pretty dang good, so I'll give it to him all day. And I do like the Inquisitors, again, but I have questions being, what you know in Rebels and what we saw with Kenobi. So we'll see what happens. And then you have the fourth sister, which, cool, another Inquisitor, totally down for her. Again, you look like you do the same exact thing. You got the bladed weapon, yada, yada. Very cool. As with the fifth brother, I really liked him in the show for what I saw for the first 2 hours, right? Very cool. And again, spring 2023, if my interest is still there, I'm not going to pre-order these. You can if you want. As always, I'll have links and everything when these go up for pre-order. Everything you see in this video is going to go up around June 1st. So just mark your calendar. So just a couple days away from the initial posting of this video. But yeah, the fifth brother, he looks great. I like a good team. If I see these guys on the shelves and gradually collect them, heck yeah, I'm totally in, because I like the way that they look. That's a little piece of Star Wars that I can pull out and enjoy for the Inquisitor action. So again, yeah, fifth brother 2023. Then we moved on to the vintage collection. Not to worry, we'll be back to Black Series soon enough. And then so we have basically like the Black Series, we have the Wandering Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Pretty much comes with the same exact stuff as the larger 6-inch version. So looks cool. Again, if you're into it, if you're the vintage collection collector, yeah, why not add a Wandering Jedi Kenobi? And then moving on to gaming greats. This is one of those lines where I think, man, there's so many cool video games that they could take advantage of, right? Especially ones from the past. Many cool characters, but they keep doing repaints after repaints after repaints where, I look at Star Wars collectors, I'm like, man, are you guys bored yet? So this is a shared fan channel exclusive box set fall 2022, so yeah, a little bit earlier, but this is for the new Jedi Survivor game. It's the sequel to the Cal Kestis game, right? I saw the trailer. Very intriguing. If somebody wants to help me out, who's the guy in the tube? I'm not sure. I had a couple questions. I don't know who that is. You can help me out. See, that's where my Star Wars knowledge goes. Yeah, I don't know. But you got the Riot Scout Trooper, you got the Magna Guard, and you got the Security Droid. And yeah, it's not for me. So if you're happy with it, if you're happy with the constant repaints for the gaming greats, by all means, they do look good when they're on display. It looks interesting. A couple bad guys, for your collection, for all the heroes to fight. But again, yeah, you know what I mean? Back to Black Series again. This is the Riot Scout Trooper. Again, kind of in that, it's like, how many repaints can we get out of this? You know what I mean? So it's the gaming greats, the Riot Scout Trooper. It just, for me, it's totally boring, totally takes me out of Star Wars. I like the droids. I like the aliens. I like seeing things like that. When you get into clones and troopers and scout troopers and all that kind of stuff, I just go, No, I'm good. I have the Scout Trooper for me. He rides the speeder bike, you know? So it's just how it is with my Star Wars lore. Continuing on with Black Series, we have Ayla Secura. A lot of people want this figure. A lot of people, like, they cheered in the crowd. So that's cool to see. When you get a fan favorite character that a lot of people have been asking for, that's great. And she comes with a lightsaber, and that's it. A lot of articulation, little to no deco. You see the pictures right from the convention floor, right from the glass case. Not a whole lot going on with her. It's a very much just, here's the figure. There's not a whole lot paint to her. Of course, she does look good for what she is, so it's up to you. But it's not one of those characters where I'm like, oh yeah, no, totally. I'm not really familiar with, I know who she is, but I couldn't tell you anything about her. And then we have Darth Maul. Darth Maul, again, right? Darth Maul sells, right? A lot of people for Star Wars, they love a good Darth Maul. I'm not going to disagree. He looks great, but yeah. I like the older one. I just think of Darth Maul as the cloaked guy. Yeah, I mean, it kind of dug his role when he faced off with Kenobi, too, and Rebels and all that kind of stuff. This is one where I'm going to say, you know, if I see it, I would probably pick this guy up, but I'm not going to go out of my way to search for him. However, I will say from the convention floor and taking photos of him, he does have really nice paint, nice deco figure, looks pretty dang cool. And then moving on to The Mandalorian. Remember that show? I mean, like, the best thing to happen to Star Wars in a long time, and it was kind of like, yeah, here's The Mandalorian. That's how, honestly, I felt. But I totally thought this guy had already been released in the Black Series. I was mistaken. This is Magistrate Greef Karga, right? So he's going to be coming out. Really nice likeness to the character. No complaints with him. As far as weapons and accessories, I mean, give him some calamari flan, something like that. Just a blaster. I don't know. I guess when thinking about these characters and displaying them, just to kind of give them those accessories specifically from that episode or the show in general, it just makes it more fun. Otherwise, it's just, here's Greef Karga. And Greef Karga, as he is just the guy. You know what I mean? Give us droids and aliens, please. Moving on back to the vintage collection. These, now I give it to you all day. I really like that upcoming 6-inch Black Series one, right? Or 6-inch scale. This is the vintage. This is pretty cool. This was probably the one where I was like, wow, that's, I like that. You know what I mean? Especially if you have like an old setup like a Dark Empire or something like that, you can fudge it in there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be exact. But the new Dark Troopers come with the loading dock. And then as you can see, you can attach them all together. That's a great idea. That's a great thing. I love the way that they did that. So hands down, this is probably one of my favorite reveals. And if you're a vintage collection collector, see what I mean? I pick and I choose what I likes. But this is pretty cool. And even on display in the glass cases, you know, you get to see it first and foremost. That's awesome. I really like that, if you couldn't tell. Right, moving on to the vintage collections. This is going to be a shared fan channel spring 2023 release. Remember Anton Merrick? Yeah, everybody remembers. Well, here's his red droid if you want him. So again, it's one of those things where I would have thought when you release a really expensive X-Wing like they did, Anton Merrick's X-Wing, this would have been kind of a pack-in as it is, you know? But no, now you can you can buy them. I love how it says second figure not included. Yeah, we know, as far as new Star Wars goes. And then we have the Rebel Soldier multi-pack, right? This is going to be a Hasbro Pulse Shop Disney Spring 2023 exclusive. It's great for those of you who have a great collection, setup, everything that goes on. This is Hoth, the Recco battle base gear, Hoth gear, people's, you know, you have 4 to choose from. They all got unique head sculpts to them. That's cool. Get one, get a couple. It's up to you. But in either case, you know, it's nice to see Army Builder packs. Got no complaints with those. And then, of course, moving on again for the vintage collection. So this is that Hasbro Pulse giant playset from the Book of Boba Fett, right? It's the big throne room. You got big, fat Fortuna sitting there doing his whole thing. Then he gets shot. And they keep saying, I listened to a couple of spiels, people talking about it in the booth. They're like, recreate that iconic scene. And I'm like, you mean the iconic scene that was a afterthought? It was a bookend to a much better show for The Mandalorian. It's a one and done scene. You know what I mean? It wasn't much to it. I would have loved to have seen that scene in the actual Book of Boba Fett. I thought that would have been kind of cool. Whatever. It's odd. But I'll tell you this right now. One, it's $250. That's expensive, right? Two, this thing is huge. It's a giant playset. So you have to have not only the cash, but then a place to display it. Otherwise, there's really no point, right? You get a ton of stuff with it. Yes, it's nice in that sense. It's very detailed. I don't know how heavy it is. I don't know how it like feels, when you have it in hand and everything else. It was in a giant glass case. But I'll tell you this, if you collect the vintage collection, if you're a purist, if you have to have them all, then it's a no-brainer for you. But again, I'm going to tell you, it's a little on the expensive side for one, and two, it's massive. If you're not that Star Wars collector where you have a house or an office or a toy room and you have no place to put this, do not get this. This is like obscenely enormous. It's awesome for what it is, but it's just... I was thinking about it. I'm like, where would I put it in my... but that's the other thing is like, this is new Star Wars to me. So it's not something that I would get. It really isn't. But, if you've already gotten it, if you're looking forward to it, I'm curious just to see what you think about it. Even if you don't care for it, just to hear everyone's thoughts. Always welcome to hear about that. Moving on to the retro collection. They're going to be having a new figure. It's a Target exclusive. This is Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing gear. There'll be several color decorations for it. These are the kind of things I don't mind. You know what I mean? It's kind of whatever. If I see this, I like this kind of goofy Star Wars stuff. You know what I mean? So I would get it, but I didn't get the last one, the Stormtrooper. It's more so Star Wars has honestly become like, I don't go out of my way to get it. If it's there, perfect. If it's not, there's on to the next one, unfortunately, unless something really grabs my attention. But, they didn't make Dash Rendar. There's no Dash Rendar coming. So no pre-orders for me, honestly. But on display, they're cool looking. They're so goofy. A lot of people have a problem with them. I'm just like, there's other things. Whatever. Who cares? Coming soon for the pipeline, for the vintage collection. There are going to be several upcoming ones. So you got like the big old like heavy arms Jon Favreau Mandalorian. They're going to be doing, I believe they said in so many ways, a re-release or a reissue of Starkiller. Don't quote me on that just yet. I don't know if it's going to be a completely new figure. I would assume probably not. It would probably be a reissue. But in either case, yes, a Starkiller is coming back to the line. And then you have Star Wars Rambo from the Bad Batch. So all those three figures are coming up in the pipeline. In case you were wondering, as far as Black Series pipeline, they're actually going Knights of the Old Republic. So I do like that. It's going to be looks based on the video game that they said. So look forward to that. That to me, again, because of the old video game and everything, I like that. I like the old characters from that. So this would be something, once I see them, I'll make my decision. But solid choices nonetheless, but still. No Dash Rendar. Why do you have against Dash Rendar? Come on, bring on Shadows of the Empire. Now, for me, when I say like all the time, like, oh man, I love when they make Shadows of the Empire. Oh, I love when they make the old stuff. Going forward, you can tell they don't want to make the old stuff. They want the new blood. They want to go forward. So, you can just see it. They're on the video games. They're on everything that's new about Star Wars is what they're pushing. Reva, that kind of stuff. Hey, look at this character. This is going to be the new Boba Fett. You know what I mean? No, for me, Star Wars exists right in the past. And, you cannot have growth unless you keep continuing the line, right? It's not good to stay stagnant in any type of product or brand or anything like that. But there has to be a solid mixture of the two. And I think that's the main problem with Star Wars these days is that they're going too far with clones and all that kind of stuff, whereas they're missing the point of where is Luke Skywalker? And the heroes that everyone grew up with Star Wars as the key poignant characters for Star Wars, where are they? There was no Luke Skywalker in any of these reveals. You know what I mean? It's odd to me. Moving on to the helmets and the cosplay, roleplay kind of stuff. Artillery Stormtrooper. It's a yellow Stormtrooper. I don't know how else to really call that. You got all the helmets here. A lot of people are going crazy for the Bo-Katan Kryz helmet, though. And then finally, with the ending right here, which I'm going to be honest, before we even get to it, it was a bit of a lackluster ending where I was like, well, that's not for me. And I get to save some casholas, right? So the new HasLab. It was kind of, I guess you would say leaked a couple days prior, but we kind of knew this was coming. So I think the Ghostbusters Proton Pack had a big emphasis on this, maybe in the thinking behind this. Like maybe people like roleplay gear, maybe it sells more. I don't know. This is just not my thing, so I will be passing. I don't buy stuff like this. It's not for me, but it may be for you. And again, you can let me know. But Star Wars. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, they went through it. Oh, hey, they're teasing it. They're doing the video. First ever fully integrated double-bladed FX Elite lightsaber. Wow. Over 6 feet long. And then they show you all the dimensions. They go unique form factor, single bladed, half circle, or you can do the full blade and, whatever. Again, it's just not something that I personally am into, but it says authentic effects and sounds. That's always cool when you get the whole sound bites, the authentic sounds, and they utilize those in any type of toy. That's pretty cool. Progressive ignition, and then you got the wall cut effect. So it does certain things that mimics the whole Inquisitor blade. This isn't the Inquisitor's blades. This is being billed as Reva's blade, right? Don't let them fool you. They're pushing her as far as like, hey, check out our new character, which just call it the Inquisitor blade. I think that it would go over a little bit better. They all kind of have the same weapon, but I think the Grand Inquisitor is the only one that spins. This does not spin. It goes into a battle sequence. It's got a premium display stand. Now, honestly, this is where they kind of lose me again. 5,000 backers needed by July 11th. That's not a whole lot of time, right? I mean, honestly, it's not. 5,000 backers. Let's give it to them all day. It's nice to see new toys being made. It's nice to see electronics. It does all these kind of things. But this is new Star Wars. A lot of people buy lightsabers. They want Obi-Wans. They want Luke Skywalkers. They want Anakin Skywalker. Whatever. But again, it's cool. I like the Inquisitors, but never. This would not be something I would ever buy. It's just that's how it goes. Not only do they need 5,000 backers, but it's $500, and also there are no tiers to this. That's it. 0 tiers, nothing else. You just get the lightsaber, which, hey, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but I think a lot of people, when you have like a HasLab, they expect, that's kind of the fun, right? You go, oh, hey, I unlocked that, I unlocked that. The Rancor, that did not work out. It's hard to go like, if just in kind of seeing this, I would be like, I don't think that's going to go. But they surprise you. The Ghostbusters thing surprised me too, and that was great because it's always nice to see new Ghostbuster toys, and I hope that would have led to more, but it's really gone nowhere. Hopefully with the announcement coming up at the Ghostbusters EctoCon, whatever, that they do something. I would love to see more real Ghostbusters, something like that. Do something. Or Super 7. That would be even better. They do great stuff when it comes to recreating actual cartoon, authentic things. But you can use this little code scan thing with your phone. If you want to look up more info, you can head over to the Pulse and check it out. Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would say no, I don't think it's going to fund, but it would probably surprise me and they would just kind of hit the mark. But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be enough fans. Maybe if Kenobi explodes and it goes every which way, more people will jump on and everything else. But no, it's not for me. But very few things this reveal were. It was a lot of fun being there. I loved seeing all the people. It was a blast. Don't get me wrong. But the product reveals and everything else were kind of, some things, some not. It's a mixed bag. But that's me because I'm the old school collector in that sense for Star Wars. But you may have loved it, and that's great to hear, and I'd like to hear about everything that you'd enjoyed. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything Star Wars. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, they did mention at a Lucasfilm book thing that they're going to be bringing Dash. Dash is important. I'm not going to let this go. Dash Rendar, dang it. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon, and Lebo.